Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark. All right, take the win the first
All right,
day.
let's talk about what's happening in Chicago, because today's the day. You have to turn in on their database. If you work for the city, you have to say whether or not you've been vaccinated. If you do want to opt out, if you want an exemption, you have to agree to testing twice a week. This is all from Lori Lightfoot, the mayor of Chicago. And a lot of people are really upset about this because there are many that don't want their personal information on a city's database, including John Catanzara. He's the Chicago Fraternal Order of Police president. He was on our show earlier, and he made a really good point. Listen to this.
The policy for, first of all, is schizophrenic. The teachers have a different policy. The teachers are literally, you're vaccinated or you get tested. You don't have to report your vaccine status. We have a mandate to report our vaccine status by midnight tonight. Everything from this mayor is a dictatorship. This is all about policy from the top. There was no public outcry for this policy to take effect. This is not the police department. You name it, everybody across the board is up in arms about this mandate.
So we said, what did Lori Lightfoot say to you when you said, look, the teachers don't have to do this. Why do the police officers have to do this? And she said to him, don't look to them. Don't look to the other side. Just do what you're supposed to do. What they do doesn't matter.
No, it's with that union that supports me as opposed to the union you represent. Mm-hmm. The police chief, just by his word, says, just listen to what the mayor says, but the union president feels differently. I think to have a testing option, I think that's relatively fair to have a testing option. I get it. To say mandate or you're fired, that's my big problem with it. But I also understand, too, these police officers want natural immunity factored in because most of them have been working through all this, have the antibodies, and don't want to go through that procedure.
Exactly right. You point out the double standards of different unions and different industries, and members of Congress are exempted. Their staff are exempted. Somehow the post office got exempted.
That's underreported. It's very rarely brought up.
Yeah, it's very rarely brought up that certain portions of the federal government got carved out. You know why? Because they had the right political connections. And you're right. There's certain types of unions get exceptions. Others do not. That's where they drop the hammer if they decide to. And ultimately, revealing your personal health information used to be a sacred right. Yeah, now people walk up to me, and every once in a while someone asks you, are you vaccinated? And I just look at them and say, it's not any of your business. Right. One way or the other. It's not your business. It's my personal health information. How do we turn that card back around?
Well, she did say, Lori Lightfoot said, if you don't agree to the vaccine or to the testing twice a week, if you don't go in the database and tell them one way or the other, we will move forward and put people on a no-pay status.
So for the longest time we heard 75% is herd immunity, and we get close to that, we're going to be set. Then you factor in the natural immunity, the antibodies that we have, are born with or got, because we had this thing called asymptomatic spread. A lot of people had it, didn't know it, but they had the immunity when we took the antibody test. Mysteriously, the antibody tests have disappeared. We used to see them a lot. We don't see them much. We never talk about therapeutics. We only talk about vaccinations. We are right now, over 70% of us have at least one shot. Over 60% of us as a country, people eligible, 18 and up, are fully vaccinated. But that's not good enough for the president, who came out for 6 minutes and yelled for a while, essentially about this.
We're down to 66 million, still unacceptably high number of unvaccinated people from almost 100 million in July. Vaccination requirements should not be another issue that divides us. That's why we continue to battle the misinformation that's out there. And companies, communities are stepping up as well to combat the misinformation.
She stumbled through it long enough to say that more mandates are coming and shaming everybody who has not chosen to get the vaccine, even though we are... Remember the percentages? Brian, you raised such a good point. It was going to be 70, 75, 80% herd immunity, then we're out of the woods. Now we're there, plus natural immunity, no one talks about it. Everyone needs mandates.
How about we don't ever have good news? The number of cases have dropped 26%. Hospitalizations dropped precipitously. It's basically the upper northwest of the states that are the problem right now. They're going to get the focus is going to drop there. And I think in 36 states the numbers are dropping specifically. And if you look at UK and Israel, it is going to get further down. And if you talk to these doctors, the next variant coming in, nothing seems close to the Delta variant.
Well, Ron DeSantis says that he's vowing to sue Joe Biden if he forces this. Companies over 100 employees, he's saying, should get vaccinated. He says, let's not let Biden come in and take away the jobs of the people who have worked hard throughout the pandemic.
Over 20,000 medical workers have been left their jobs since the mandate in New York, 8,000 of which are in home care. define that as very much in need. Next up, hospice workers. So you're going to tell me that we're going to do this to hospice workers?
Pilots, TSA agents, thank you all for being heroes during the pandemic. Now you're a zero. Here's
And
your
then
free
it's
slip.
Thanksgiving, no TSA, the pilots, the workers. You know, this weekend when you were out Southwest, that could be coming to an airline near you.
All right, let's talk about what's happening down the southern border. Two sisters, ages 4 and 6, are found wandering alone near the Arizona-Mexico border. CBP releasing these harrowing images as they work to reunite the girls with their family. The sisters were found in an area that officials say is a popular crossing point for unaccompanied minors.
As the crisis at the southern border continues, Lawrence Jones is getting a first-hand look at the situation on the ground, visiting a train yard in Texas where troopers catch stowaway illegals.
Lawrence Jones joins us now from Brackettville, Texas. Hey, Lawrence.
Hey, good morning, family. We have been here at the border all week showing you this crisis, and part of the reason why we're in this train yard is because this is what a lot of illegals use to get inside of the country. The people that are responding to those illegals trying to enter in the country, the Texas Department of Public Safety's Special Operations Unit. Take a look.
For the state of Texas, the border fight is bigger than the physical barrier. It is the tools that the illegals use to get into the country. Trains. And some of them surrender themselves willingly, and the other ones, they run. Who's there to meet them? The Texas Department of Public Safety, DPS.
That train will come in, we'll put a guy in a tower. The guy in the tower will see people sitting in these open-top containers, and as the train starts to roll, people are jumping off, and some of the troopers will actually get up top on the train.
We're currently in a train yard in the state of Texas where the Texas Department of Public Safety Special Operations Unit are conducting inspections of this train yard. If you see here, you see a bottle of water right here from migrants illegally entering the country. You see electrolytes for them, and even clothes, right? Shows the mere desperation they have to get into the country. They hide under the train here, right here, and if you can look right here, you see broken ties. This was once connected. You wonder how they got the tools to be able to do that. They bring that with them.
Some of them will conceal knives and things like that in their shoes, and they won't always admit to it. Like they'll hide the knife in their shoe, for example.
Yeah, you need to see what these guys.
Everybody on the news, they were sitting right here.
We're right against the wheel.
Oh yeah, one guy moved.
Where are you from? Honduras. Honduras? And how long have you been traveling on the train?
I don't know.
You don't know? How long have you gone without getting water? It's okay. DPS has arrested over 1,200 migrants since July for trespassing. And they came from 2 different countries, like
They came from Honduras, one from El Salvador.
they're going to be charged with criminal trespass. Right, so this particular area here, this is where we're able to enforce a criminal trespass initiative, which Governor Abbott had launched. And right now, these individuals will be charged with criminal trespass for the state violation.
You're the senior man in charge of Lone Star. Tell me what your instructions are with this mission.
Sure, the Texas National Guard, we're supporting our law enforcement partners. We are mobilizing additional personnel, equipment, as well as capabilities under the direction of Governor Abbott in order to deal with this crisis.
How bad is it, General?
We're at an inflection point because I think we're out of illegal immigration. It's a mass migration, as you've seen with the caravans that hit Del Rio.
We've already heard that there's going to be another wave of migrants coming this way. Are we prepared to handle that right now with the current resources that we have?
Yes, we are. It's hard to say if you're prepared when you talk about caravans of 60,000. That's a tall feat. However, we're continuing to mobilize additional personnel, equipment, and capabilities. Well in the thousands.
Thousands of people there. So you're ready for this task?
We are ready.
Lawrence, what?
And guys, after that ride along yesterday, we had the opportunity to also go to the prison where they are processed and get the court date. That one individual that you saw that was emotional and was going through, obviously hadn't gotten food in days and water, had to be transported to the hospital. These trains that they jump on and jump off on, there has been legs amputated, arms, limbs. It is a very dangerous process. And if you talk to the troopers off the record as well as the Border Patrol that are here on the ground, part of the frustration that they have is the Biden administration is encouraging these folks to come into the country, and these people are just listening to that administration. They think it's pretty cruel for the President of the United States to do that, knowing good and well that they have to enforce the laws that are on the books currently. I'm going to send it back to you guys in New York.
And Lawrence, what's so interesting is